things are looking a little bit cloudy. So, Marcus, have we seen the best of Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, we have. And that doesn't mean that has nothing to do with the fact that he won't continue to play at a high level. See, these questions in First Take are built to kind of get you like stuck in some kind of sinkhole. But I don't get stuck in sinkholes. Y'all know that.
Never.
What we've seen from Lamar Jackson is MVP level football. And he'll continue to play at that level. Lamar Jackson needs to fix turnovers. All right, somebody got to say it. He got to stop turning the football over. Outside of that, Lamar Jackson is the reason that we see the Baltimore Ravens having this amount of success year in and year out during the regular season. Does he have more to prove? Yes. He got to win a Super Bowl. That's his goal. I ain't say it. That's what Lamar said. Prove and have we seen the best of is I've seen Lamar play at the highest level of anybody in the game. And I think we've seen that a number of times, even in times where we thought Lamar could have done more. They won the game because 8 was on the football field. See, here's the thing that I always like tell people when we having these conversations, because it's a certain tier of guys and it's a certain respect and manner in which we should talk about them. Lamar has earned that ability. He's earned that right for us to talk about him in context of winning championships, being elite as far as being in the MVP conversation, having an opportunity to win every single game because he's the quarterback for his football team. We all can focus on the attrition that the Baltimore Ravens suffered. We can talk about the injuries on defense and offense. We can talk about the change. Lamar injuries himself, battling COVID, being sick, missing times. And we sit here today, and I got to give Tyler Huntley love too, because Tyler Huntley then held it down and then gave the Baltimore Ravens opportunities to win football games. Don't ask me a damn question about if Tyler Huntley should be the guy over Lamar Jackson. No. I don't want to hear anybody ask me that question. I don't want to talk about it. No. Lamar Jackson is the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens now and going forward, and he gives them the best opportunity to win a championship. But have we seen the best? Yes, because we've seen Lamar be better than everybody in the NFL at a point in his career. Now it's about how long can he sustain that and continue to play at a high level and give his team a chance to win a championship.
See, Marcus, I disagree. I don't think we've seen the best of Lamar Jackson because of this simple fact here. We've seen Lamar Jackson play at a high level, right? So he's growing, he's getting better. But for some reason, his offensive coordinator is still staying stagnant and still staying the same. Now, I think John Harbaugh needs to put some pressure on Greg Roman, and they need to figure out how this offense can be more innovative around the skills that we have already honed to see with Lamar Jackson. The receivers, they need to stay healthy. They need to produce more. Mark Andrews is a leading guy. And I have no problem with Mark Andrews because I think he's becoming one of the better tight ends in the National Football League, especially this year, because he's been the one constant for this team along with Lamar Jackson when he's been out there, offensively and defensively. But I feel like Greg Roman, these receivers, and this offense has to be more innovative moving forward. And then I think once we see that, we can see another – and I agree with you 100%. Lamar got to get rid of these turnovers. And granted, I understand he's trying to be Superman because they're so depleted in so many areas. But he has to take care of the football more. But I don't think we've seen the best of them because of the simple fact that their offensive – they don't even know how to beat cover zero, Marcus. How in the hell do so many times throughout a season you don't figure out how you – so I put that on the offensive coordinator and the coaching staff. They're supposed to be in there up all night long figuring out how Lamar Jackson and this offense can defeat cover zero. And then when I look at the two-point conversion plays that they run, all of them are kind of similar. There's no creativity. All you're seeing is rollouts and this whole nothing. But I think the reason why I think we haven't seen the best of Lamar Jackson is because I think offensively this team could be more creative and use his skill set at another height than what we already seen him do.
Done deal. Hey, Harry, you got this one. See how big of a man I am? See how big of a man? I was thinking in context, though, because this Lamar is always a very nuanced discussion, right? Because he's not in the same vein as how we judge quarterbacks. So we can't have the same conversation about Lamar that we have about Pat or we have about Aaron or we have about guys that have been MVPs in the league. And I'm glad we can get out of that damn fishbowl, Harry. But what I was thinking when we was coming into this conversation is I've seen Lamar throw for the 304 touchdowns and have the great QBR. I've seen Lamar use his legs and devastate teams. Saw him win a playoff game when everybody said he couldn't. So ultimately, look, what you talking about is the ability for players to get better. Right? Like, get better as you continue to grow and you add nuance and things to your game that allows you not to have to rely on some things that won't sustain you for the rest of your career. This is something I done talked about with Lamar since his second year. Develop a passing game and see if he can do it. I have full confidence that Lamar Jackson can push the ball downfield, throw with the best of them, have the opportunity to throw his teams to wins. But to your point with Greg Roman, you got to be allowed to. And we know Bateman was injured. We know Marquise was injured. We know Marquise had some drops this year that would make Lamar numbers look a little bit better. We all understand what's happening with the Baltimore Ravens. But ultimately, what you just said about having the ability to move forward and morph into other things in order to give themselves a chance to win a championship, I got to agree with you, brother. I lost on first take. It don't happen often, but you got me on this one.
Well, I think we can safely say we've seen the best of him for this season as it stands now. But as for the long-term future, we hope we can see more. They probably aren't going to make the postseason. The crazy thing is that the Ravens started out the season in the first 6 weeks having a 95% chance to make the playoffs. They started 5-1. They've now lost the last 5 straight. Their playoff chances now stand at just 4%.